sammen, Tuerhat. So I released a video just earlier today, and in that video I explained how the Norse people, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, they were just as intelligent as us, maybe even more intelligent than us. And I'll put a link in the description below to that video, but that's an important one to watch, so please watch that when you can, and also this one, because it's going over two things that are going to be very important when we're looking at the magic and the beliefs and traditions and rituals of our Norse ancestors. So our Norse ancestors were just as intelligent as we are today, and I even argue that they were even more intelligent. Their brain was more effective than ours today, because they had just so much more time than we do today to come up with new ideas. So when you think about it, what does an average day in 2020 look like? How much time do you actually have to think about something useful at all, or intelligent at all? What, 5 minutes at the end of the day before you fall asleep, or an hour at the most? You know, unless you're working a job in science or a job in engineering or something like that, then chances are you spend your day at work pretty much thinking about useless things that are not very productive to society or anything like that. But we all do. I'm the same too, and I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So what do? You wake up in the morning, you get ready, eat, go to school or work. Your mind is occupied with things all day at work or school, pretty useless things, of course, and they don't really do anything to help us in humankind or civilization or anything like that. Don't really develop any new technology or beliefs or anything. Our day is just wasted doing that. Then you go home and maybe spend an hour commuting, maybe you work out, maybe you spend some time with the family, then you turn on the TV or scroll social media, and that's about it. Then you go to bed without even really thinking about anything useful the whole day, and this is our entire lives in this age. But this was not the case 1,000 years ago when our ancestors were. Remember, they were just as smart as we are. They were exactly like us, except better, stronger, smarter, faster, better at everything pretty much. So what did they do? They woke up, maybe they did some hunting, they ate some breakfast, they did some hunting, or maybe some farm work, maybe they built some things around the place, and the wives and kids would forage for a couple hours a day, then do a bit of housework, and maybe cook, then it's done. That's it. They probably only worked a few hours a day. This whole 8-hour work day, which is really not that much, because in previous times, in the Victorian ages and Industrial Revolution, it was normal to work a lot more than 8 hours a day. But even 8 hours a day that we work now in this modern time is quite a bit of time. So previously in history, we did not really work that much. We would have spent a few hours working, and this was in the summertime, by the way. In the summertime, when there was things to do, we would spend a few hours working, maybe get up at sunrise, work, and finish in the afternoon. In the wintertime, there would be absolutely nothing to do. We would have enough food piled up to last the winter. Maybe we'd feed the animals a little bit, and that's it. No real work. So we had so many hours a day, 1,000 years ago or before, where we could just think about things that were important, think about things to develop, to build up on the technologies and beliefs and ideas and magic that people have done before us. So they had no TV, they had no Xbox, they had no scrolling social media for hours. What did they do? Well, they would tell stories, not just any stories, but they would remember full-length stories in rhyme that was passed down from previous generations, maybe for thousands of years, and they would remember them. We think we are more advanced today and smarter today because we can read and write, but our ancestors didn't need to read and write. They could remember all these stories, hundreds and hundreds of words long, long epic stories, and they remembered it word for word, passed down verbally from their parents and grandparents, all of that. So they were way better at storytelling. They were way better at remembering things like that. What else? They would scavenge the area they lived in and figure out what every single plant was. They had a name for it. They knew if it was safe to eat. They knew if it was safe, and if it could be used for medicinal use. And a lot of the magic we're going to be looking at actually is potions, herbal potions, as simple as that. Not anything crazy hocus pocus witch cauldron potions, but just using regular herbs that people would find in the nature around them. So what else would they do? They would stare up at the stars all day, or all night, I'm sorry, and then they would be able to tell what day it was. They would be able to create a full calendar, and they would know all the stars. They would do the math. They would create the calendar. They could navigate thousands of miles across the sea without getting lost, and they can pinpoint out which day it was exactly and which day it was going to be 100 years from now. So of course that's what they spent their time doing in the evenings. They had nothing else to do but look up at the stars and study that. What else? Well, they would create poetry and songs, and not just any poetry. This wasn't just a rap battle like we have today that they could scribble up in a couple minutes and that was the poem. So no, they were long epic poems that detailed the history, spirituality, and beliefs of their people. And each word in the poem had a deep and complex meaning. It's not just, like I said, it's not just a rap battle they scribbled together in a few minutes. That each poem or song that they created had a really complex meaning, and we're going to look at some of that as we go on, because they are not what we've been led on to believe for 1,000 years now, basically. So every part of these poems and Eddas was symbolic. And if you look a bit deeper and translate the text properly, it will show clearly what our ancestors really believed in. And I will cover lots of this stuff in other videos. And what's some other thing they do? They did magic. They wrote down spells, they wrote down chants, they wrote down herbal potions, and drew magical runes and staves, and they believed these things that they had special power and could benefit their people. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but that's what we're going to look at. Whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. The important thing is that our ancestors believed it, and we can't just look at them as like, oh, they were stupid, because they weren't. They were intelligent, and they had nothing to do in their free time besides come up with these things, besides come up with magic and herbal potions and things like that. So it's definitely to be taken seriously, looked at seriously, because no one else is really doing that in the historic community. They're just brushing it off as, oh, our ancestors were stupid and lazy, and they drew a bunch of scribbles and called that magic, which is not true. So I'll finish the video. I just want to say that it's not really right the way we live today. It's not really beneficial to ourselves and to our people. We spend our day working so many hours at a worthless, insignificant job, 99% of us, and the few hours that we have left in the day we're spent busy doing chores or watching worthless TV shows or scrolling social media or spending it on commute in the car, and it's absolutely destroying our society and human nature, really, and in a lot of different ways, and I'll make some videos about that later on. But I'd just like to end this video by just asking all of you to try and take some time for yourself each day and think about things. Take some time and think about things that are important to you. Don't try and just keep yourself selfishly entertained all day by watching YouTube videos or scrolling social media or watching stupid shows on TV. Take some time, set some time out every single day to think to yourself, or think about something that will be useful to you and to your people, and who knows, maybe you'll come up with some new magic or some new invention or some new technology that will help you and help your loved ones and help your people. So that's about it for today. See you next time.